Oh, I have thoughts.
Oh, I have thoughts too. I think you should pick neither and move on. They both sound problematic.
Okay, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about female 39 seeking advice. Torn between guy number 1, mid-30 male, and guy number 2, late 40 male. Who should I pursue? That's a fair question. You know, you got 2 options. You should always have options. And let's see what she says. Okay. Hi everyone, I'm a female in her late 30s. I could really use some advice about my current situation. I found myself caught between 2 men, each of whom have their own unique qualities and challenges. I'm hoping you can help me figure out what to do next. Here's the backstory. Guy number 1. I met a guy in his mid-30s last December and it felt like magic. We instantly connected without even knowing each other, and we could spend hours talking or texting, often just being silent, but still completely in tune. This connection was unlike anything I've ever felt before. It was deep, intense, and completely mutual. However, one night during a more intimate conversation, he mentioned a sexual pose that made me feel very vulnerable and uncomfortable. I told him he crossed the line and ended the conversation. The next day, he apologized and we continued talking, but I was shaken and felt weird about it. To explain, it was sexualized assault in the past. To explain, I was sexually assaulted in the past, and he was the first guy I'd let into my life since that incident. Okay. I wonder what the sexual position was.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Maybe something in terms of like being bound or something like that, you know, or being restrained to some degree. We planned a second date, but as it approached, I got cold feet and abruptly brushed him off at the last minute. I told him I felt like there was no point in trying to make this work. Yeah. But after 5 to 6 days, again, like never before, I felt physically ill from missing him. So I reached out and we met again. Even though things weren't quite the same after that, the connection between us was never truly gone. We both still felt it. Months later, around May, he confessed that I had scared him by breaking things off so suddenly back in January. Okay, that makes sense. Like, he was like, what the fuck, dude? I just wanted to have some kinky sex. Mm-hmm. Between January and July, we met a few times and talked intermittently, but things were inconsistent. He often said he got caught up with work or other obligations. For months, it felt like his effort to meet or pursue anything had slowed down. It's now August, and I still miss him deeply, and I constantly think about him, wondering what if, and feeling like he is the only one I ever want to be close to. The last time I saw him was about a month ago, at the beginning of July, and although it was a short visit, it felt like time stood still. My memory of that night is so vivid, like it happened yesterday. However, within a day of us meeting, he just stopped responding to me. I already have thoughts. But okay, guy number 2. Then, just days after my last meeting with guy number 1, I met another man in the most unexpected way. He is in his late 40s, and while I didn't know him, he is acquainted with my family. He approached me and asked me out to dinner, but I didn't agree right away. I was still hoping that guy number 1 would reach out, but when he didn't, I thought, why not? And decided to go on a date with guy number 2. The date went well. It was comfortable and felt like the kind of match society would deem ideal. However, the connection doesn't come close to what I felt and still feel for guy number 1. Guy number 2 is everything I want in a relationship. He's intentional, consistent, communicative, and fun. He takes a lead and is very attentive, genuinely trying to understand my needs. But there's a catch. He's already talking about moving in together and even looking at properties, which feels way too fast and makes me feel a bit uneasy. Despite this, he's mature, consistent, and overall a good guy. He seems like a solid, steady, and stable option.
You don't like him.
But you don't like him. Yeah, it's like, what's going on? However, a few weeks after I went on a date with guy number 2, guy number 1 reappeared in my life. I told him that I was hurt and frustrated by the lack of progress in our relationship and asked him to step up, but his response was short and vague. Since then, guy number 1 and I haven't talked. Guy number 2 reaches out every day. For context, I have never slept with either guy 1 or guy 2. I only ever made out with guy number 1 before meeting guy number 2. So here I am, feeling torn. Do I pursue the guy I can't stop thinking about, who made me feel things I've never felt before, and with whom I still feel a deep connection despite everything? Or do I continue with the man who seems solid and stable, even though some of his dreaming vision of a future together seems rushed? I'd really appreciate any advice, opinions, or thoughts on what I should do. Thank you. Oh, I have thoughts.
Oh, I have thoughts too. I think you should pick neither and move on. They both sound problematic.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my thing. Guy number 1 was, I feel like his reaction to cutting her off or being weird is because she cut him off.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so she was triggered because she was sexually assaulted. Okay, understandable. But did she tell him that? Like, she doesn't say that. I'm like, did you tell him the reason why I cut you off is because you wanted to do something sexually that really freaked me out, and like I was like, I couldn't handle it because I have a traumatic response to that. I have PTSD.
Yeah.
And that's why I cut you off, but I'm still totally into you, but it's just like sexually things might be a little weird because like I just can't be doing certain things, and that's why I cut you off. I think you're amazing. I want to be with you, but that's why I cut you off. Because the way that she explained it was like he was weird with her because she cut him off abruptly, and so he was like, I don't really trust you. Like, why would I be with someone who's like hot and cold, and clearly they both still like each other, keep going back and forth. For me, I would say yes, I agree. She shouldn't even be with. Just don't be with guy number one. It sounds like lust.
Mm-hmm. It sounds exactly like lust. That's all it is.
I would, but maybe you need to like have a closure and be like, this is a situation. Clearly, I have some stuff I need to work on. I think you're amazing. I would love to be with you, but I don't think this is the right time. We're both going back and forth. It's not clear. Let's just like stop talking to each other. Period. Let's just like cut it off. Don't contact me. I'm not going to contact you. I still like you. I think you're a great person. Obviously, you think I'm a good person, but it's probably not going to work. Let's just be clear about that. Instead of it being like, what if? Oh, he's kind of talking to me. He's kind of not. Just be like, no, we're not going to talk to each other anymore. Like, I fucked up because I didn't communicate well. Now we're in a weird back and forth position. Let's not even do this. I don't want to.
Well, she told him that she was hurt and frustrated.
By the lack of progress, because that was later, though.
That's true.
That was later. Like, she came back into the situation and he was like, okay, I guess we can talk again, but like, I don't know because you kind of cut me off abruptly months ago. So like, why do I?
Maybe that sex thing is like what he's actually like really into.
True.
And he just sort of like proposed it as like a test and she didn't pass. So he's like, maybe not. No.
I agree. That's another reason to be like, I'm only saying for her to have this conversation with him and just be like, we need to cut it off so I can stop thinking about you.
Also, like, the only reason why she's getting all of these feelings for guy number one is because she said he was the first guy she opened up to after her assault.
Yeah.
So it might not be feelings for him. It could just be feelings.
Yes, it could be. You're totally right. Guy number two. I think he sounds like perfect on paper, but you're like, you're not really into him.
You're not into him, and he could be a little controlling since he's already planning your future, and you guys haven't even like.
Y'all been like talking for like 3 months, 2 months, and he already planning your future. That's scary. But she said he knows her family, so like, did I don't know if she knew about him beforehand. Like, was she aware of his existence?
Maybe not, but he might have been aware of hers.
Yes. He's acquainted with my family. And he's older, so like maybe he's like, I do hear this thing about older men, older people in general. They don't waste time.
No,
they're like, I ain't got time for this. Like, if I know that I like you, we're getting married.
Right?
Like, they're like, why am I fucking around? So he could be in a different place in his life from where you're at anyway. Like, you're still trying to figure shit out.
Sounds like it.
So it probably isn't gonna work.
I don't think you should pick guy number one or guy number two or guy number three. You should pick guy number 0. You should pick yourself. Yeah. And work on yourself first.
Date yourself.
Yes.
Get to love you. No. Figure out like read up on lust. I think people don't understand what lust is and how like in the beginning of like relationships or infatuation, you get infatuated with people and that shit's gonna fade.
Yep.
And it makes you do things.
It burns hard. It burns fast.
It makes you do things that you wouldn't normally do or be interested
or feel things that you might be unfamiliar with.
Yes.
If you're not accustomed to opening yourself up to people.
Yes.
And you could definitely mistake that for love.
Yep. Break up. Not even break up. Stop seeing both of them.
Yeah. You asked guy number 1 to step up and he didn't. Short, vague response, radio silence. You have your answer. Yeah. Guy number 1 is he's not an option for you. Your brain is saying that guy number 2 is a safe option, but you don't actually like him. So just don't waste his time.
Yep.
You're wasting guys' time here. Okay. You need to work on yourself first because you're not ready for a relationship, clearly.
No. Go to therapy.
Yeah. What to do next is you go to therapy and you work on yourself.
And also, you might want to figure
out what you need and want.
People also forget about like sex therapy. Like you need to go to like trauma therapy, sexual trauma therapy, because that's a thing, and like it help you.
If someone just brought up a sexual position and talking, and she was like, "Oh my God, no," that's not a good sign.
It's not. You're not over it.
You're not over it. You need to go work on yourself and get that situated.
Yeah. That's our synopsis. You got some work to do, girl. And it's not dating anybody.
No. Yeah.
You're not ready.
No.
So work on yourself. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful, and we will see y'all in the next one.